Good afternoon, everybody. It is great to see all of you on here. I have with me today Sarah Hobbs from Showing Time. So I am obviously recording this session, so I will send it out afterwards so you guys have it to kind of check it out and watch as a refresher. And then we'll also send some Showing Time resources out because they have a really great support page. So to get us started, Showing Time Plus, as you guys probably already know, is the umbrella company over Showing Center, Dotloop, and now the new Offer Manager feature that they have rolled out in all of our different marketplaces. This feature is currently active in our market, so you may have started to see it on co-broke listings as an option. Once you go to schedule a showing, you now have the ability to submit an offer if the agent or the company has turned it on at that level. We do not currently have it turned on for our listings. So you may be seeing it from the buyer's agent perspective on co-broke listings as an option for submitting your offer. We have not yet turned it on for our listings because we wanted you guys to have the ability to jump in, learn about it, get to training, understand how it works before we turn it on. We are going to activate it at the company level on July 5th. That does not mean that it will be activated for you, meaning live for you. It gives you the option. So when we turn it on at the company level for you guys as agents, it will actually be defaulted to off. You will then have the ability to turn it on July 5th for a specific property, for multiple properties, or you can go into your account settings and default it to on for your account, so that it's turned on for every single active listing that you have. So you have a couple different options. My biggest recommendation would be to turn it on for one listing, try it, get used to it, get comfortable with it, and then start to turn it on going forward if you're feeling confident utilizing it. I would not recommend jumping in, defaulting it to on, and if you have multiple active properties, trying to juggle multiple offers all at the same time the very first time that you guys use it. Really exciting new feature, gives you guys the ability to improve communication on both ends of the transaction. And as listing agents, absolutely gives you the ability to organize all of your offers in one place. It will run parallel to Dotloop. So everything that you guys are currently doing in Dotloop, you will continue to do. Not every single agent and company out there uses Dotloop. So we are hoping that this really becomes the place where all of your offers for 123 Main Street land, and then you can use that to cross-check, okay, all of the offers that came in on my property, are they all in my loop for me to complete my review process and go through and work through with my seller? So this is really to organize everything in one place, host all of the contact information, and improve the visibility and communications during that transaction. So with that, I am going to hand it over to Sarah. She does pause along the way for questions, or you can feel free to kind of put them in the chat box so that you don't forget, and we will pause along the way and get to those. So Sarah?
Thank you, Jen. Good afternoon, everyone. I am one of the senior customer success managers here at Showing Time, and I'll be leading today's training on Offer Manager. Thank you for taking time out of your busy days to participate. My goal is to make sure that you become familiarized with Offer Manager, learn how it fits into your workflow, how to access and manage offers, how to submit offers through Offer Manager, and how to communicate with agents about their offers. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into the agenda for our training. We'll talk about how to submit offers, or how offers are submitted today. We'll talk about the benefits of Offer Manager, the new offer submission process, so that's through Offer Manager, what it looks like to receive offers through Offer Manager, the process of managing offers. We'll discuss how to communicate offer details. There's also a really neat side-by-side comparison report for sellers that we'll review. Then lastly, we'll cover how to set your Offer Manager default settings in your agent profiles in Showing Time. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is go through the current way that agents submit offers. So this process is going to look familiar to you. Agents, they schedule their showings as they normally do. Hopefully they're using Showing Time. Then when the buyer is ready to put an offer in, the buyer's agent fills out all the purchase agreements, however they currently do. Your home sale agents are typically using dotloop. So you just continue to use dotloop like you normally do, gather all your other necessary documents. Next, typically the buyer's agent will email the offer over to the listing agent. So if the buyer's agent doesn't hear back right away, they may start to worry and wonder, did they get the offer? Did the email get stuck in spam? They may end up calling the listing agent. Hey, did you get my offer? If they get voicemail, then they have to wait for the listing agent to get back to them. So this part of the process can be stressful with all that back and forth communication that can sometimes happen with the typical offer workflow. Once the offer is accepted, it's time to work through the contingency period and get through the inspections and appraisals and other closing processes. Then it's the best part, the happy ending, they get to close the deal. So with this workflow, we wanted to show you how Offer Manager fits in this process, which is right here in the sending, receiving, managing, and communication around the offer. So we do not replace the e-sign or the transaction management platform. We fit right here in the communication gap that exists today with the typical offer submission process. Offer Manager resolves a lot of pain points that exist for agents currently and eliminates that stressful back and forth communication and uncertainty. So are there any questions about where or how Offer Manager fits into the typical offer submission process? Okay. There are some questions coming through the chat, I think. Let's see here. Oh, maybe not. Nope. Okay. All right, so we'll move on. All right, so now we're going to look at the different ways that offers can be submitted through Offer Manager. So if you have Offer Manager enabled on one of your listings, this is how the buyer's agent will submit the offer. The first way shown here is through the MLS. Buyer's agents can submit an offer in the MLS on any listing that already has the schedule of showing icon on it. Offer Manager is perfectly integrated into your showing, so it flows easily from having a showing to submitting an offer. So that's one way, is through the MLS, through the schedule of showing icon. And then offers can also be submitted through your showing time account. So this option exists both in the desktop and mobile versions of your account. So basically, you're just going to click the showings tab in your account. And like I said, you'll have this in your mobile app account if you have the mobile app installed. So you'll select offers, select submit an offer, and that takes you to a listing search page. Your most recent showings will display, so you can just click on any listing here that you want to submit the offer on. You can also search for a listing. So if you don't see the listing that you want to submit an offer on, you can search for that listing up at the top. And also note that if the listing has Offer Manager turned off, you'll see this little black tag that says offer form is off. So you'll just want to contact the listing agent directly like you normally would in those situations. So once the buyer's agent clicks into the listing to submit an offer, it opens up this offer form. So here's where you'll type up a quick offer summary, add comments, and attach all the necessary documents. So we'll go ahead and go through this process here. And this is a really easy form to fill out. Up at the top, you'll notice the listing agent's offer instructions. Next, there are fields for all the offer details. So the buyer's agent fills out the purchase price, earnest money deposit, financing type, financing amount, and that can be either in dollars or percentages. Seller concessions is the same, dollars or percentages. You can put in the closing date, the buyer's name, any contingencies. And also note that the buyer's agent's contact information automatically populates into the listing, so you don't have to re-enter that information. And then you can also easily upload any needed documents. There's a section, an optional section for comments to the listing agent. and then you just click the submit offer button. Once the buyer's agent hits the submit button, a confirmation pop-up appears. So you know that the offer was sent and you know who the offer was sent to. Are there any questions regarding how offers are submitted? So I showed you putting an offer in right through the MLS on the listing through the showing icon, and then the other way is through your ShowingTime account. Oh, I see there's a question here. Can docs be added directly from Dotloop? You'll want to have those documents saved on your computer or your device somewhere to load them into the ShowingTime system, the ShowingTime Offer Manager system, to be more specific. So there's a question about, let me just go back here. There's a question in here about the closing date. So I just want to clarify the closing date. You can either put in the actual date or the number of days. So either way, you can kind of, just like you can toggle back and forth between the dollar and the percentage, you can toggle back and forth between the date and the number of days. So I apologize for any confusion with that. So there's a question about an API system available to push data into the system. That's a really interesting question. We don't have anything like that available right now. However, there is, so Dotloop and Offer Manager are both under the ShowingTime Plus umbrella, as Jen had mentioned earlier. So there are plans to look at more integration options between Dotloop and Offer Manager. So as it stands right now, we don't have that, but it is something that we're looking into because we want to make this super streamlined and easy for our users down the road. So I can't say that it's something that we have now, but it's definitely something that we're looking into. And I don't want to miss any questions here. So what I might do, let's see.
Sarah, I think at this point you're good so far. The only one we didn't get is Christy saying we do not have the submit offer tab as an option, but I'm going to assume that's because we have not yet turned it on.
Exactly. As soon as we turn it on, you'll see that offers tab within your ShowingTime account. Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
And then James is asking, how does it come over to us as the listing agents, which I believe is where you're heading next?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. All right, so this is the confirmation. I showed you this. All right, so we've seen how the buyer's agent submits an offer. Now we're going to look at the listing agent's point of view once the offer comes through on their end. So the listing agent receives a notification of a new offer by email, text, or app notification. To view the offer, the listing agent just needs to click the orange button that says click to view offer. And if you do receive this by text message, that is totally fine. It's a link in that text message that you would click on, which opens up this page to view the offer. Once you click into the offer, it gives the listing agent easy access to all the important parts of the offer. So you're able to view the offer summary, the buyer's agent's information, and all those important documents. To make it super streamlined and easy for agents, all the documents are stored together within the offer. And you can open up and view those documents on any device. So you can read through every detail of the offer, even when on the go. Additionally, the buyer's agent can be contacted quickly and conveniently by clicking on the contact button here. Once the listing agent views the offer, so once as the listing agent, you click that orange button that you're going to view the offer, this read receipt is generated to the buyer's agent. So the buyer's agent will get this by email, text, or push notification. And it lets them know the exact time and date that the offer was viewed. Are there any questions regarding new offer notifications to the listing agent or the read receipt notification to the buyer's agent?
Sarah, one of the questions that came in was, does the buyer's agent have the ability to send the offer to the secondary listing agent? You know, in an example where maybe there's a team leader and it's really the secondary agent's listing.
Yeah, so that's a good question. So all of that is set up on the listing side. So you would want to make sure that if you were not the one to receive notifications, that you turned off that notification and that the co-listing agent had it turned on. So when you set up your listing, you can indicate who's going to receive those new offer notifications. So the buyer's agent doesn't necessarily like choose who it goes to. It's set up beforehand on the listing side, if that makes sense. And I'm going to show you, I'll have some screenshots showing you how that can be enabled or disabled for any of the listing contacts.
Perfect. Thank you, Sarah. And then 2 other questions. Is there anything that shows the buyer agents how many offers were submitted for a listing?
No, that information is confidential.
And then if a deadline is set, will the system still allow for submission after the deadline in case somebody's submitting an offer a few minutes late?
That's a good question. I don't believe there's a deadline within the system. So as long as the listing is still active, they're able to submit offers, is my understanding, but I can double check on that. I don't think that there's like a deadline. You can like set a deadline and email all the buyer's agents what the deadline is, but it's not like hard coded into the system that offers can't be submitted after that time.
Yeah, that was my understanding too, Sarah, even from Greg last week, was that you
Okay.
could set those expectations in the remarks and through communications, but I did not see any type of setting that stops offers from coming in.
Right.
And then Bob, I did see your question about screenshots of how the emails look. Sarah has quite a few communication screenshots, so you will see those in a couple minutes here.
Mhm.
And then we are all caught up, so you're ready to keep going.
Thanks, Jen. Okay, so now we're going to walk through the different ways you can manage offers from the listing side and how to communicate with buyer's agents through Offer Manager. So as previously mentioned, Offer Manager perfectly integrates with ShowingTime. All users have an Offers tab within their ShowingTime account. Again, you won't see that Offers tab right now if you were to log into your account, but you will once this is enabled on July 5th. From this section, you will see an offer summary for each listing. The listing with the most recent offer will float to the top to ensure that you don't miss any offers. We see on the top listing here, there are 5 total offers, but only 4 are active. So this means the listing agent declined 1 offer, but still has 4 offers that have not been accepted or declined. Now I'd like to bring your attention to the quick action buttons, which are very helpful and convenient. The paper airplane icon, it looks like a paper airplane. This is the mass email feature for the listing. So you are able to send mass emails. This allows you to send an email with a subject, body, and attachments, but you have options to choose different email recipient groups. So the top option is emailing all contacts on the listing, which would be like the listing agent, the co-listing agent, and the sellers. You can also email all agents who have submitted an offer on this listing. And then there is also an option for all agents who have scheduled a showing on this listing. So you can select any of those recipient groups that you would like to send a message to. And then you may send a message, something like, all highest and best offers are due by a certain date. So this is how you would sort of communicate and set those expectations to all the buyer's agents on your listing. The next icon is the icon for offer instructions. So these are the offer instructions at the top of the offer form that all buyer's agents who submit an offer on your listing will see. And this icon is where you can go to easily edit the offer instructions for one of your listings. If you have the same instructions for all your listings, you can set those default preferences in your profile, which we'll cover in a little bit. but you can also edit the instructions for the offer instructions for any one particular listing right here. And then the third icon is where you can manually add in an offer. So like if a buyer's agent submits an offer outside of the platform, or if there's a situation where the same agent represents both the buyer and the seller, you can click into this and enter that form on their behalf. So just note that there's an option here where you can add in the buyer's name. So this basically searches like the MLS database, and you can enter any agent name from this field. This is the mobile summary view of the listing agents offers. So there's 5 listings here. The top 2 are the active offers. Those are in blue. The next one down is green, which means that there's an accepted offer, and the bottom 2 are gray, which means that there are no active offers. If you click into any one of the listings, this will open up the main page where you can see all the offers that have come in on that listing. From this page, agents can manage and view all the offers for the listing and update the offer instructions. So again, these are the offer instructions up at the top of the page. Agents can edit those instructions per listing by clicking that little pencil button. Then below, agents will see all the offers with the most recent offer at the top. We can also see for this particular listing, there are 4 offers and 3 are active. So there are 2 ways a listing agent can update a buyer's agent on the status of their offer. The first option is to connect with the buyer's agent directly. So let's say we sent these offers to our seller and the seller wants to decline the second one down from Charles Peters. If the listing agent wants to call or text Charles personally to let him know that his offer is declined, they can click the contact button and his contact information will appear. So that makes it really easy just to give him a quick call or shoot him an email. The second way is to update the status of the offer to declined. So you would just click on that status for the offer and then change that to declined. By changing the offer status to declined, it will prompt the agent to notify Charles that his offer has been declined. If Charles was already notified, so if you had already called them or sent them a personal email, you can click Don't Send. But if the listing agent does want to send a notification, they can personalize this message with something like, "Thank you, Charles, for your interest in time, but the seller has declined your offer," and then just click Send. And then this is an example of one of the emails asked about earlier. So this is what Charles would see as a recipient of the email letting him know that his offer was declined. So this is a very, professionally formatted email, and it has the listing agent's contact information at the bottom. So I just showed you the 2 ways to contact the buyer's agent to update them on an offer. There are a couple of ways that you can mass email buyer's agents. First, if you're in a multiple offer situation, you may want to wait until one offer is accepted before you let the other agents know that the offer is declined. So we do have a mass decline automation for the situation. The listing agent would simply select the offer that the seller has accepted. This one has the highest offer price, so the seller wants to accept this one. So we click on the status of the offer and select Accepted. Once the offer is updated to accepted, the user is prompted with a screen to confirm the accepted date, the purchase price, and the closing date. And then also note there are 3 selections below. So these provide automatic notification options to notify the buyer's agent of the accepted offer, to change all the other active offers to declined, and to notify the other buyer's agent that the offer has been declined. And then this is an example of another one of those emails. This one would notify all the other buyer's agents. So this is like the mass mass email decline update. So the second way to communicate with the buyer's agent is to mass email them without changing the status. So if the listing agent wants to send a notification out, they would just simply click. So all of your listings are going to have like this little blue plus sign in the right-hand corner. So if you click on that, it opens up options and you can see that there's a notify agents button there. So that will allow you to notify all the agents on this listing. And I also want to point out here that there is an on-off form for Offer Manager. Click into any listing and you want to turn on Offer Manager, you're able to do that from this blue plus button. I have another screenshot of this from your desktop account, but this is what it looks like from the mobile app. So if you click into any listing within the Offers tab and you click that little blue plus button, you're going to see an option to turn on or off Offer Manager for that listing. So there's also this notify agents option here. So when you do that, it opens up the mass emailer and you can choose the recipient groups that you want to send the message to and personalize whatever message that you want to send. So then this is the example of the offer update email that would go out and just ensuring that all those agents you selected are fully updated. All right, are there any questions regarding how to manage offers from the listing side or how to communicate with the buyer's agents through Offer Manager?
I had a comment, but it's share worthy, so I'm going to share it. It was just about the notifications and email versus text versus push notifications. So I just wanted to share with you guys that the communications will always come through via email. In addition to that, you can turn on a push notification or a text notification, but you will always get the email. Email is important. The other communications are great, but email kind of preserves that written communication trail for everybody. And I have not seen anything else in the chat box. So
Okay.
if you guys have something and you want to add it in or unmute while Sarah's paused here, feel free.
Okay.
Sarah, I did just get one in. If someone has unsubscribed from Showing Time notifications, will it also block offer emails? So like
That's a good question, right? So like they can go in and like opt out of certain types of notifications within their profile. I would say, let me find out for sure on that. If they're opt out. So you're talking about like if they can opt out of like the price change emails and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In their profile. Yeah. Let me make a quick note.
Well, and it's if they've unsubscribed too. So if somebody has gotten some type of email from Showing Time and clicked like an unsubscribe link at the bottom of the email.
Okay.
I would think that's like, my thought is there's probably a separate marketing emails that come from one email address and then offers that do come from a specific offer email address. So that would not affect it because it's coming through two different channels, but I would feel better.
I would think so too. Yeah. I want to double check for you. I would, but I think you're probably right. Yep. So I will dig into that, find out for sure and send you a follow-up email.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next slide here. So now we're going to look at the side-by-side comparison report for sellers. And this is actually my favorite part of Offer Manager. So you'll find the side-by-side offer comparison feature within the offer summary section of your Showing Time account. It looks like this, it's under the actions, the quick actions, under the offers tab, and it's like this little circle with two arrows pointing in different ways. So within this feature, you can compare all the offers received on a given property side by side. So if you click that button, it will bring you to a page where you want to select the offers that you want to include in the report, as well as you want to select the fields that you would like to appear in the side-by-side comparison report. So you can see, like, you can compare the purchase price, the financing type, any concessions, like all that stuff can be included in the side-by-side comparison report. So once you've selected the offers that you want included in the report and the actual information that you want it included in the report, this is what it's going to look like. Sellers love this report because it makes it so easy to see all their top offers side by side. And what's nice about this report is that you can actually export this as an Excel file or a branded PDF. It also includes the broker logo and agent logo, so it's very professional looking. It's easy to customize and add notes to and send to your sellers. And agents can do this from their phone as well. Are there any questions on the side-by-side comparison report?
Not yet.
Okay, all right. I was just clicking in to see if I could see any questions. I didn't either. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to look at the offer activity report. So this report includes all the details with regards to the offer process for your record keeping purposes. So it will show any changes that were made to an offer, when the offer was entered, any emails that were sent, any mass emails that were sent, and the status changes. So it's basically going to contain all the important information regarding the offer activity on your listings. So you're able to generate this report for each listing that you have. So you'll be able to generate this report from the offers tab and the left side menu of your ShowingTime account. So once you select the listing that you wish to run the report on, you'll just select that blue plus button. So again, I showed you have access to this little blue plus button from the mobile app. You also will see the same blue plus button in your ShowingTime desktop account. So if you click on that within any listing, it opens up the option here where you can generate that offer activity report. But you also, again, you see you have that on-off switch. So you can turn on or off Offer Manager on any listing from that little blue plus button. Are there any questions about the offer activity report, where to locate it, or how to turn Offer Manager on or off for your listings?
I didn't get any for those yet, but Sarah, if you can loop back to the comparison sheet.
Sure.
I've got a few for that one.
Yep.
So
I'm just gonna...
well, go ahead.
Almost.
Let me know when you're ready.
Okay, I've got it up on the screen.
Okay, so a couple questions. Is the net editable?
The offer net?
Yes.
I'm not sure. That would be something I'll have to check on.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure how exactly that's calculated. If that's something that you enter or if it's something that's like calculated within Offer Manager.
Okay.
So okay, I'll get back to you on that.
And then I'm just confirming it can be printed and it can be exported to Excel, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Can you add the updated seller's net proceeds to it?
Yes, so there's a comment section down at the bottom. So you can put anything you want that's not already included in there.
Okay.
So you can type any additional notes in that you'd like the seller to see.
And then can you hide the buyer names?
Yes.
Okay. And then somebody had just commented, I think answering a previous question, once it's exported to Excel, that's where it could be further edited or adjusted if needed. If it's
that's true, right?
It's
so
something that can't be done technically in Offer Manager. And then
that's a good point.
I know. Thanks, Jane. That was a great thought. Can the expirations have times along with the dates? So like where it says offer expires Thursday, September 8th, could it say at 3 o'clock?
So again, that's probably going to be something that goes back to what you said, export it, and then you can type in any changes in there.
Fine tune some of those details.
hmm.
A couple other questions, not necessarily attached to the comparison. Can we require that certain documents get uploaded with the offer?
So what you want to do is put that in the offer instructions. So that's the note that appears to the buyer's agent at the very top of the offer form. So anything that you require that they include, you want to put that in there into your offer instructions. Do you want me to pull up a screenshot of that? That'd be helpful.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Just a second.
And then while you're doing that, Tim, I'm just going to answer your question that you're correct. Like none of it's replacing what you guys are doing in dotloop. It's going to run parallel to your entire dotloop process for right now. And then down the road, know that I will be one very happy person when we get some dotloop and offer manager integrations.
Great. So I have this up. So the offer instructions are at the top of every offer form. So as soon as the buyer's agent clicks to submit an offer, that's the very first thing they're going to see. So, and this can be customized. You can set like default instructions in your profile, but you can also customize this per listing. So anything that you really want them to know, like specific documents that need to be included, you should put that into the offer instructions. And so you'll just click that little pencil icon, and this is showing you from the mobile view. Once you've clicked into the listing, you just click that little pencil icon, and then you can change it, change those instructions. And then it's very similar from the desktop side. Like once you click into the listing, you're going to see exactly where you need to go to change these offer instructions.
Okay. And then Sarah, one other question, when the comparison is being shared, is there any way to link or automatically include the actual documents that are uploaded with it? So like if I'm a buyer's agent, I fill out that summary of all the terms, I upload my agreement of sale, and Eddie is the listing agent and he's sharing that comparable sheet to his seller. Is it able to attach my documents to it or link my documents to it so they have the actual contract?
That's a really good question and that I'm not sure about. Link documents to seller report. Let me find out.
And could be like a future enhancement request.
Right, exactly. It makes a lot of sense.
And then one more question, is the information that is uploaded protected within showing time since there's financial information in there?
Oh, yes, 100%. Yeah, this is all confidential protected information.
Okay. That's all the ones that I currently worked my way through in the chat.
All right. I appreciate that. I appreciate you tackling those questions. Okay. Get to the next slide. Look at, we're almost done here. All right. Okay, so what we're going to look at now, let me zoom my share. So what we're going to look at now is how to set your default settings within your profile. So you can set your default settings in your profile through the mobile app or through your desktop account. Either way, you just want to navigate to your profile within ShowingTime and then scroll down to the listing agent offer preferences section. So it's a good idea to review all of your profile settings periodically. But right now we're just going to focus on the offer preferences section. So the first button that you'll notice in this section is where you can turn on or off Offer Manager for all your listings at once. So this will be defaulted to no. Even when this launches, all your listings will be turned off. So we're not going to like turn on all your listings at once when this launches. You'll be able to pick and choose which listings you want to try this on to start. But if you do decide that you really love Offer Manager and you want to have this turned on for all your listings, you can come into your profile and do that here. The next setting is for notification of new offers. So you can see that there's an option here for the listing agent and the co-listing agent. So you can decide who's going to receive those new offer notifications, and just by selecting yes or no for each contact type there. And then you can also choose how you want to receive those notifications. So the new offer notifications can be received by email, text, and push notifications. By default, email is going to be selected. And then if you already have like your mobile stuff entered for your text messaging, that would be selected as well. And then if you also have the mobile app, that would be selected. So you would really be going in here like and unselecting things if you didn't already have like those things set up. But most agents should already have all of these boxes checked. And then if you have like an assistant or perhaps an offer specific email address that you would like to send offer details to and attachments to, you can add that email address here. And then there's a setting option where you can select if you would like to be prompted to notify the buyer's agent when you change the offer status. So if you want to be prompted to notify agents of either a status being updated to accepted or declined, this is the setting here. This will be defaulted on, but you do have the ability to turn that off if you prefer not to send those notifications. And then the last section is your offer instructions. So this is like the default offer instructions that all new listings that would appear on all new listings. Now, as I mentioned earlier, you can go in and customize your offer instructions for each individual listing if you need to, but if you want to put any default instructions in that would appear, you can do that here. And then this shows you where the offer instructions appear on the offer form. So this is the page where you can enable notifications or disable notifications for each individual contact on the listing. So this is the listing worksheet, and it probably looks familiar to you because this is where all your showing instructions go for the appointment center service. But here you can click into any individual contact using like the little pencil button and change the send new offer notification from yes to no. So if any, you can also set the default in your profile, but then you can also change those settings here. And then note that sellers do not get the offer sent directly to them by default. But if you want to come in here, and again, you just select the little pencil button, you can set your sellers up to automatically receive the offers. So when you click to view the offer, it would automatically be sent to them if you select that here in this section. Are there any questions? We're pretty much at the end here. Just a few more slides. Here, maybe I'll go through these last remaining slides and then we'll address some questions. So if you haven't already downloaded the mobile app, we highly encourage that you go ahead and do that. The mobile app is a great way to manage your showing time account on the go. And now that Offer Manager is going to be available to you, you're going to be able to manage your offers on the go as well. So if you already have it installed, then you're good to go. That's great. But if you don't have it installed, please go ahead and get the Showing Time mobile app installed. And then on the go live date, we do recommend having text in the MLS, agent remarks similar to this. So this just helps ensure that all buyer's agents new to Offer Manager know that they can easily submit an offer, and it gives them instructions on how to do it. So again, we recommend adding some text to the agent remarks similar to this. And then for any technical questions, you can contact our technical support team. Got their contact information up here. If anybody wants to make a quick note. All right, and that concludes our training. So I'm going to answer any questions that we haven't got to yet. Let's see here.
So Mark, you had sent a question in, but I did send you a chat. I wasn't totally following your question. If you want to unmute and ask it, please, please feel free to do that.
Sure. Thank you. I just wanted to get clarification. I guess this is more Berkshire Hathaway from management. If we've met the licensing requirements of sharing all offers to our clients, if we're not physically sending or linking the actual contract documents, if the only thing we share is that comparison, is that does that meet our companies and license requirements?
When we watched it with the leadership team last week, the commentary was that our process still needs to stay the same in terms of you sharing those offer documents via dot loop to the seller to make sure that they've gotten them and reviewed them and seen those. So
So sharing the overview sheet and having them make a decision just based on that does not meet our company's requirements. I just want to make sure I'm clear.
that's my understanding, and I will confirm that and check with Gary here in a minute, but the conversation we had initially had was to continue sharing documents just like we would in dot loop, even if we were not using that.
Jen, just to support that, I heard exactly the same thing you did, is that no deviation from our current process of providing the actual offer documents, and that the summary sheet does not replace that.
Yep, it's the organized way for them to kind of see all the options on the table with the supportive documentation. One, hopefully that you guys have confirmed, because we want to make sure that there's no typos when they manually types it in. And then two, so that the seller can do the same. And then the other question, and Sarah, I think this is more just kind of maybe any feedback you may have possibly heard. Have you heard at all that from listing agents or buying agents that you guys may have interacted with anybody, having it deter anybody from submitting an offer because they haven't used it? Like any feedback from listing agents feeling like, you know, it deterred somebody from submitting an offer on their property because their remarks required it to come through Offer Manager?
The only thing I've heard is that there is a little bit of a learning curve. So like, you know, agents sort of, they're used to doing things a certain way. But once they get used to it, then it's like, you know, just like anything else, it just makes life easier to have this option. So initially, I think that there's a little bit of hesitation just because it's new, but once it becomes like more like normalized, I guess is the word, then there's no problems.
Yeah, the only feedback I've gotten is from some of our agents who have never used it, but then saw it on a listing that they were submitting an offer on, and they just jumped in and did it and said they were able to, you know, basically intuitively walk themselves through it and figure it out and didn't run into any issues with it. So that's kind of
intuitive, super intuitive.
That's what I've heard. I've heard it from the buyer agent perspective of, you know, I saw it, I clicked it, I was able to get it submitted. And then we started to get the requests of, can we get it turned on for our listings because of how easy it felt. And then James added into the chat box, kind of vouching for it as well. He said he submitted an offer without any training, really easy and intuitive process. Tim, did you have a question?
Yeah, I was just going to ask, obviously, since there's not integration with dot loop, you know, we're doing data entry, basically pulling stuff off of the agreement of sale. If somebody was to fat finger something or get it wrong, I'm guessing the agreement of sale is what's going to override that. And then I guess my other question is, since there is some redundant work there, like obviously we're going to follow our process in dot loop, but could there be an issue where the listing agent would respond or counter to an offer not through that document, but instead through the portal or through the system, and that could cause any issues? Like, how are we going to be you know, just making sure that everything is legal and seamless?
So the first part of your question, the agreement of sale is what stands. And for Maryland, the residential contract of sale, they actually have some disclosures that get sent back and forth in this process that you have to read before viewing offers and that you read as you're putting it together, that essentially says that. So that's kind of takes that concern off the table. But yeah, I mean, 100%, whether you're sending or receiving, before you click any buttons, it's pulling up that contract and cross-checking the terms. On the listing agent side, it's 100% why you're able to edit it. Because if buyer's agent does send it through and it doesn't match the contract, it gives you the ability to connect with them, confirm it, and edit it on your end so it's correct as you are reviewing those multiple offers. I mean, think of it kind of the same way as you guys filling out the multiple offer summary form now. It's the same risk, because anytime we're adding data in another place, typing, writing, that issue could come up and happen. So basically the online version of that, the processes will run simultaneously for now, but some of what you talked about is exactly what Greg and I had talked about down the road with the integration of, creating an opportunity for, if we fill out the details page in Dotloop, could that feed through to Offer Manager? And then when documents are shared via Offer Manager, could it go right into the listing loop? So I know some of those things are on the roadmap. There's just not a time frame for it at this point.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And I will keep you updated as, they make some progress there. Yep, and then James just adding, it's not a question, I think it's just a comment about the listing agent still needing to present the offer no matter how it's received, whether it's showing time, Dotloop. I mean, that's a huge important piece of the process. And I mean, really starts with here organizing it with that comparison sheet, just like you guys did with the printed out PAR multiple summary form, and then going through the contracts and all the information with them. Mark asking, are we required to use this? You are not. So that's why when we turn it on at the company level, it's defaulted to off for you guys for your listings. It's up to you whether you want to turn that on for a specific listing, you want to default it to on for all of your listings, or if you want to keep that turned off. On the other side of it, we are already seeing listing agents as co-broke listings have it turned on and having comments in their remarks that they're requiring all offers to come in that way. But you are not required to turn it on for your listings. Okay. I don't see any other questions, but guys, I will follow up with sending out the recording so you have the ability to go back and watch it as a refresher. And if you have any other questions over the next couple of days as you start to familiarize yourself with this, and then next week, once we activate it, if you start using it, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. And Sarah and I will kind of coordinate to make sure all of those questions get answered for you.
Jen, it's Mark Rebert. One more question, if I can.
Mark, yep.
All right, so I ran into this. I saw another co-broke agent had this as a all must offers must be sent through this or they will not be reviewed. Am I correct in understanding that no matter how an agent sends us being a listing agent or brokerage, whether we ask them to use this or not, we are required to present all offers, no matter how they're sent to us?
You are correct. We actually had that conversation with Gary Schlechtig, our broker of record, last week. And yes, so they can say that in their remarks, but it is a requirement that they present all offers, whether they were submitted through Offer Manager or I handed it to them walking through the lobby. Okay, I think that's it. Mark, let me know if there were any follow-ups with that. I think you muted, so I think you're all set, but let me know. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you so much, Sarah. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.